I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to the Conversation with Al McFarlane. Today is Friday, and Friday means we're going to be in the healing circle. Pleased to welcome my co-host, Dr. Bravada Garrett-Akinsanya, and we're joined again by our friend and regular in the program, Colonel David Rabb, a U.S. retired veteran and also a therapist. I'll have him give you his credentials before we get going. But before I start, I want to invite people listening to call somebody and let them know that we're on the air, that we're going to be doing this, and we want you to help us grow this conversation. How do you do that? You go to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube/Insight News MN, and simply hit subscribe. Hit like, hit share, let people know that you're part of this conversation. And we want you to really be a part of it. There's a comment section on all of the platforms that we're on. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on, I think that's mainly it. On all of those platforms, you can leave a comment real time, and I'd love to shout you out. So wherever you're watching from, just drop me a note, say hi. My name is, Joe, Bill, Ahmed, and I'm in, Raleigh, North Carolina, or wherever you are. Say hello. And if you got a question, put the question in as well. Well, let us begin. And when we do this session on Friday, we use a special protocol for healing. And for that, I want to invite Dr. B and Colonel Rabb in to both join the program and to set the protocol, the intention for this conversation. Dr. B.
Yes. Good afternoon, brother. Bye-bye, Al, and brother David Rabb with your bad self. It's good to see you today, and just feel the love of hanging around with you brothers. As we do every Friday, we have a special time we set aside so we can gather as a people to claim our healing and our right to wellness. This healing circle is what we call it. And even though we're not physically in a circle, spiritually, we are connected. And we want the listening and viewing audience to know that you're part of our circle. And in this circle space, the reason we do things in circle as African people is because everyone in the circle has equal access to the center. Everyone has equal voice to project what you need to say. And we have access to that center of power. In addition to being in a circle, we do that also to honor the healing that comes from standing on the shoulders of our elders, because they're the ones who hoped, worked, and dreamed and prayed our way into existence. So we stand on those shoulders. So we honor our elders in this circle. And we also honor our elders because they're closest to our ancestors. And those are large hopes and dreams that have gone through centuries of existence. And we honor our ancestors because they're closest to our Creator. So today as we join, we say Ashe for being here in the room with each other, in this circle together, in this space of claiming our healing together. And with that, I say welcome. And I pass the talking stick. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the talking stick. We have a virtual talking stick. You can't see it. So if you don't see it, don't worry about it because it's virtual. And we have this virtual talking stick and we pass it in circle in an orderly fashion because African people are orderly in the way we do things. We believe in divine order. We believe that whoever is listening now, those are the voices and the spirits that need to hear what we're saying. So in this place of healing and in this honorable circle, we pass the torch or the talking stick to one another. And the rule is, if you're just burning to say something or got something as the spirit moves, you ask for the stick and you make your statement so that it adds on to the beauty and the value of what we're doing. And with that, I really, really, really do relinquish the stick and pass it to Baba Al.
Thank you, Dr. B. I received the talking stick. And let me, in short order, pass it to Colonel David Rabb. Before I do, I wanted to remind you or let you know that one of the ways we distribute this program is to a site that I'm particularly excited about, hopeful about. And that site is called Narrative. Narrative is like the word knowledge. Knowledge starts with a K, right? Sounds like an N, but starts with a K. Narrative, the same thing. Starts the word knowledge, but like the word knowledge, it's got a K in front of the word narrative. So we tape these shows and we post them to Narrative, hopefully every show. And I want to let people who will be watching and hearing this on Narrative and its counterpart, there's a private, not a private, but another level of engagement called Nubia. I want you to know that we're sharing this to that, and I want people in Nubia and in Narrative to know that we do this every week for the Healing Circle, but every day for conversations, the Conversation with Al McFarlane. And our hope is that we are sharing this to you. We'd love to have you comment, be a part of this program, give us ideas, and we want to grow this conversation. So shout out to Narrative and to Nubia. I always am rocking Narrative gear. This Nubia is the site for the part of the Narrative experience that is really, really, really exciting. So shout out to Nubia, shout out to Narrative, shout out to Dr. Karen Hunter, to Dr. Greg Carr, and a whole team of brilliant, genius people that are building a new future and using the digital technology to do that for us, connecting us. The mission is, how do we free ourselves? That's the goal. Well, with that, let me welcome Colonel David Rabb, and I see who's also here is Brother Clifton Garrett, another veteran. Brother Garrett, good to see you again, and we'll have you jump in the conversation as well. Good to see you, my friend, the brother of Dr. B. But first, David Rabb, let me hand the talking stick to you, Brother David. You have the talking stick.
Thank you for giving me the talking stick. And I want to say hello to all you out there, and that we are family. We are family. And so, Clifton, I look forward to talking directly to you because you're a poet, I hear too, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because I want to hear some of your poetry. I am David Rabb, and I'm here with Dr. B, who I dearly love. I remember our first time together, and Al brought us on air, and we were new at this. I mean, this is about 3 years ago. We've had this relationship. And a little bit about me, I am a 40, as you were. I keep on forgetting that. I feel like I'm 40 something, but actually I'm 50. Yeah, what I want to be today. Today, I am 65 years old. 65, that's old, ain't it? Nah, because then 65 is good for retirement, right? I should be retired. I want y'all to know that. But I can't be retired. I can't retire because I have a community out there, right? And I have a community of healers out there. And we have a challenge still. We can't like take a knee. I would love to take a knee, right? But what my spirit is telling me is like, no, you don't need to sit on the sideline. We got too much work for you. I believe God is good, and you'll hear that a lot from me. But we do have a lot of work to do. And a little bit about me, I served over 41 years in the military. Started off in the Marine Corps, worked my way through the rank to earn the title of sergeant. I was very proud of that because there was not many sergeants that were in my command or company. And my focus was infantry. We call it 11 bang bang in the Army. In the Marine Corps, we call it grunt, right? You're a grunt.
Right.
I'm proud I'm proud to be a grunt, right? And seriously, and the reason why is because they are the people who are on the line. Those are our fighters, right? 0311s, 11 bang bang. Those are the people that you see when we go to war, with all the gear on and, and in dangerous situations. And so I've learned a lot being a grunt. But then, I wanted an education. God wanted me to, do some diff. So what I did is I went in the Marine Corps and did a great job. My parents said, "Hey, you're doing so well, stay in. There's nothing out here in Chicago. You just stay in the Marine Corps and do what you're doing. You're doing great." But I had a calling in me, said, no, I want an education. We'll come back to that, right? But I want an education. And so I had to fight for that. And I eventually did. I went to Illinois State University. But before I went there, I went to some community colleges in California, as well as community college on post, and then also my community, South Highland, Illinois. And those schools, actually, I think I learned more in those junior colleges than I did in graduate school. Okay, really. And I'll just share that. And so I was able to get my education, but I went back into the military. But this time my focus was, getting to be an officer. So I became an officer. And then I also worked for the VA because I was a reserve. I went back into service, but I was a reservist in my first unit was a combat stress unit. And I was in that unit for 17 years before I went to war. And during those 17 years, I didn't know it, but I was being trained by some of the brilliant minds in the military. And I got to engage colonels who were at their game top. They were psychiatrists, psychologists, and in terms of leadership, that's what they gave me also. Not only the clinical side, but they gave me. They were preparing me for war, right? And that's what we do when you're in the military. We'll go to war, and so. Again, I did that, but then the balloon went up. And when the balloon goes up, we go out. And the balloon for me went up 2004. And I find myself by then highly trained, highly educated through the military. I find myself as the commander of a combat stress unit. at Fort Snelling. And I commanded, I was in charge of 85 soldiers, psychiatrists, social workers, all that. I had to take them to war, right? And
Brother David, let me interrupt you on that, and so we can introduce Clifton, because now you're getting to the heart of what brought us here today. Talking about that moral injury.
Oh yeah, we get there.
Yes,
as soldiers get, and especially our Black brothers and sisters. So I want to just swing over to him, because I believe I'm sitting up here sending cookies to veterans, but I've never been to a war. I've never been in the armed service, but I'm sitting up here with 3 former soldiers. And I want to make sure that the audience hears the healing that has to take place after we send our brothers, especially our Black brothers, to the space that they're in exposed to danger. And they're standing in that gap already before they left America, standing in that gap of shielding women and children like me before you go. Go fight and then come back home to fight some more. So I want to pass this talking stick, if you don't mind. I just got the feeling I just made a love connection. I want to take the stick for a minute and pass it to my brother Clifton. Clifton, please introduce yourself and welcome to the Healing Circle. Now you see, I told you it's going to be a bunch of brothers talking about stuff. It's going to be love up in here, laughter. And I didn't lie. They're already showing you how they roll. So just welcome to the show, Brother Clifton. You got the talking stick.
So sorry, but right when you were talking, I said scam likely came on my phone.
Oh wow! Check
Simplify. Hoorah! Simplify.
Hoorah! Yeah.
Simplify.
That's
Listen,
good.
The moral injury that we received as Black sailors and soldiers and airmen in 1976. After 200 years, there had never been a naval musical officer. There had only been one E9 in the United States Navy music program.
Okay. Because you were in the Navy, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, go.
I spent 5 years as a Navy School of Music on staff. I spent 8 years as an E5. Well, if I had made E6, I was going to go to Officer Candidate School and the STAR program, and I would have become the first naval musical officer in history. But they, no pun intended, they drummed me out. I got a medical discharge that was orchestrated. I'm sitting in here right now in the office of my clinical psychologist, Dr. Michael Unger, who graciously allowed me to have this meeting in his office. When someone had guided me through all of the injuries that we received. 2 years ago, he discovered that I had ADHD. And from that point, with the medication and with the brilliant therapy that I'm receiving, I wish all veterans had the opportunity, had the money, had all. It was my hope that all people who are suffering with mental deficiencies, cognitive deficiencies, could get proper treatment. Proper treatment. I think we need more money poured into mental health to help us. Now, and fortunately, I have my sister Bravada to thank for keeping her foot in my fanny.
All right.
Making sure that I didn't get caught slipping.
All right.
And before I get off of the phone, There's Dr. Unger over there.
Oh yeah, hiding in the corner.
Where you at?
Oh, in the corner.
There's Dr. Unger over there. I'm gonna give you this one poem, and then I'm gonna have to go. If that's all right.
That's fine. Yeah,
Right.
let's do it.
Very good.
God said, "I will enlarge." It's called America. God said, "I will enlarge the house of Jacob. He should dwell in the tents of Shem." And everything America is all because of him.
Mm.
In God we trust. One nation under God appears on our currency.
Mm.
But as I walk the streets each day, it's difficult to see. America, the beautiful, from sea to shining sea. But for our suffering children, it's my country's tears for thee. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal with certain inalienable rights. With diversified ethnicity, we go to war, but it's only the American who fight. As I walk the smoke-filled battlefield, every race, creed, and color lay dead. And even though they all were different, all of them bled red. We give the ultimate sacrifice to keep our country free, to secure the Bill of Rights, but there's little equality. Until America lives up to the true meaning of its creed, until the safety of our children is not all talk but deed, until we see pornography controlled throughout the land, until we respect the mighty God who's got the whole world in his hand, we will be living in a state of doom, leading to destruction and despair. For praying lips and empty hearts do not mend but tear. What is the true mission of our churches? Sunday at 11 o'clock, we go our separate way. Where is the unity and communion of love proclaimed upon that day? What is America to become? Where will we take our stand? When will we truly and sincerely fight the evil and wickedness that seeks to control our land? America, the light in a world of darkness. A ray of hope, the beacon on the hill, the home of religious freedom where every man and woman decides upon their will. Let us now make our motto brotherly love. What a scepter to behold. A place that brings loving kindness and warmth and hope to the human soul. Let America always stay the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let America always and forever be the beacon of hope to rescue and to save. The children of the world should always and forever be America's greatest interest and concern. I hear their cries all over the world. I know their hearts do yearn. Yearn for a better day, when so much pain and suffering will subside and disappear. Yearn to sleep without the sound of war and gunfire in their ear. Yearn to live without the pedophile around every corner, seeking every way to take away their innocence. They yearn for them to pay. America, a government of the people, by the people, for the people, let her forever be and truly become America, the beautiful, from sea to shining sea.
Wow.
Bravo!
There are two levels. In Ephesians 6 and 12, which says that for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places.
Come on.
And the highest place of communication physically is the satellite. And the highest level of contradiction is armed struggle. So we are battling this moral war in two places. We are damaged, but thank God we have Dr. we have help, and if we can get these people, these great people that dedicate their lives to mending broken minds and broken hearts, like my sister Bravada Garrett-Akinsanya.
Yes, yes.
If we can just get the right funds, if we can get our people to good clinical help, the world will become a better place. I have to go.
All right, brother.
Thank you for your heart.
God bless you.
And your courage.
My heart is so open. Thank you very much for your message. Powerful. I'm going to have to replay it a lot because there are so many nuggets that you gave us. But we'll talk offline. We need to stay connected.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Garrett, we need to stay connected.
I tell you.
And hats off to you, brother.
Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, I was blessed. I was blessed to have a sister like this that God gave all of us.
That's right. That's right.
I was blessed. Just truly blessed.
I'm telling you, Clifton, your other Navy brother is Brother Al.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a Navy man as well. So hats off to you, brother.
No.
My God, you know, I got the Navy Commendation Medal from Admiral Isaac Kidd at Sinclair Fleet, and even with that, he was the Supreme Commander of NATO. The only enlisted person I know that got and musician that got the award, and even with that, they wouldn't let me
become an officer. I go to E9.
There you go. We'll have to have you back. We got to have you back on the show.
Y'all have a great day. God bless you. Bye.
Bye, Clifton.
Well, that's beautiful. You can summarize anything, Dr. B, and then hand the talk and stick back to Colonel Rabb, if you would.
I wish I could. I am pretty speechless because that was powerful. And I'm so proud of him and the healing process, how he used his poetry to talk about his anger and his rage and his hope and his healing and the things that are important to all of us. I mean, he brought it today, and he brought it to the right place because he's up here with two other Black men who bring it every day. So I'm with that. I just felt like dropping the mic. Here you go. I'm gonna give it to you, brother.
Yeah, your brother did good. Outstanding.
And brother David, before you start, we had talked in advance about the arc of the program. Number one is, you wanted to make sure that you talk about programs that are existing to help veterans. That's number one. And you also want to talk about your experience at the Veterans Administration. I love the way you opened up the program because you gave us background. As you were giving that background, what I would like to ask you to share as well, you shared a little bit, but you shared that you did, your BA or BS degree, and you said you did graduate studies. Talk about what you studied, what your degree is, and what your profession is by virtue of that training, and how you brought that into your work as a leader, as an officer in the U.S. Army. So then the last thing, this is a perfect segue, Brother Clifton, the musician, right? The artist, and we have on this agenda the role and power of art in the healing process. And you are a poet as well. So maybe before we're done, you'll share one of your poems with us to cap this program off.
I tell you what,
I'm handing it back to you, brother. Okay.
Before we close out, I'm conscious and I talk a lot. Let me first start with the poem.
Yeah.
Right. So I can piggyback on this. And actually, I wrote this about 2 years ago. And it's entitled "Freedom." Freedom. 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 Some of us can't see it. Some of us can hardly believe it. That we don't have nothing to lose except these old, dusty, rusty, invisible chains. Freedom. 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 Some of us can't understand it. Some of us can't even accept it. That the only thing that we need to lose is these old, dusty, rusty, invisible chains. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Yes, freedom, yes, freedom rings. We don't have nothing to lose. No. We don't have nothing to lose except these old, dusty, rusty chains. Power, they misused it. Guilt, they abused it. Authority, they refuted. Now we don't have nothing. No, we don't have nothing. Nothing to lose except these old, rusty, dusty chains. We are forever free. That's it. Yeah. Freedom is so important. I mean, really, I don't know, people, do you think about freedom on a day-to-day basis? I know I do.
I do as well. I do.
Do you?
Yeah,
How about
absolutely.
you?
I do.
Okay. You know, we can get a group here just talking about freedom
Yeah.
and what it means. So I'm going to go with you, Dr. B. Can you give me 3 words that pops up when I say freedom? 3 words.
Liberation.
Mm.
Wholeness. Now.
Al?
Ability to do.
Okay. Ability
To do. Freedom is being able to do.
Okay. Can you give me 2 more? Give me 2 more concepts.
One, as you were saying, I was seeing the word freedom roll out of your mouth each time you said it. And I saw the distinction between each time you said it. And so what you said and how you said it was powerful and clear. And it brought to my mind what we used to do when I was a student at Morehouse College. We would sit around a place called the Canterbury House, and some of the people that had been doing the field work in Alabama and Mississippi, who were part of the SNCC and doing the Freedom Summer work, would come through and sort of be in respite on the Atlanta University Morehouse Conference. And as often as not, almost spontaneously, we'd break into song, right? Okay. And so one of the songs that we did, not a song, it's a chant, but here's how it sounds. Sounds. Freedom now. Freedom now. Freedom now. That's the chant. Freedom now.
Mm-hmm.
The fierce urgency of now. We just sit around and all of a sudden somebody say freedom, 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 freedom now. That's the name of the game. That's been a driving internal force. So freedom is what we're here for. And you know, this ties into me, Brother David, and Sister Queen, Dr. B. The mission in the movement right now is to see ourselves as builders of authors of freedom. Our job is to create a future, to develop, design, and deploy to what's the right word for it? Not enact, but to organize, to assemble reality in a world that has our interest, our story, our legacy at its center, and that rests individual and human salvation in our story. And it's a story that connects us to every other human being on the planet, and to every other living thing. Freedom is finding the path of harmony and the path of sort of cosmic congruence, balance in all things. So I'll stop there.
Oh, that don't stop.
Dr. Colonel Rabb, go back. I'm handing it back to you.
All right. Okay, so I love you. I love all of you. Let me just say, Al, I love you, man.
I love you back, brother.
Dr. B, I love you.
I love you too, brother.
Okay, and I think we got something started, and we're gonna build on this, right? We're gonna build on this issue of well, I didn't get to say my three things, right?
Yep, I was gonna turn it on you. I was just about to do that.
Okay, go.
Leader, your three things.
Leader, healer, social artist. I am a social artist, right? And I see problems in our community as a canvas. And the way that I approach what God has given me all the way up into here, all the struggles, all the fight, all the, it comes down to focusing on social justice, right? Social health, right? And social dignity. Okay, here we go now. Dignity. That's, I believe, what we are missing. Parts. We're talking about parts, okay? I think the last session we talked about, Al, we talked about, this systems theory, this issue of, we're parts of the system, right? And so the way I think is that we need to bring in all those parts together, as many parts as we can together, especially as it focuses on mental health and wellness.
That's right.
We need to speak our truth. We need to feel our pain. We need to get encouragement, spiritually. We need to, as my, right now, what's channeling me is my Uncle Bobby from Chicago. Did I ever talk to you about Uncle Bobby? Uncle Bobby, just real quick. Uncle Bobby, he left me with this message. He said before he died, right? It was focus, right? Focus. And then what happened was I went to war with all my skill sets and all my knowledge and all my experience. And he Uncle Bobby, he had a church on the south side of Chicago, right? And his real name is Sylvester Brinson Sr. And he modeled for me what right looked like, right? And the only thing he told me, he said, focus. And I'm like, come on, you got all this knowledge and you got all this experience. And that's all he said, focus.
Hmm.
I thought he was going to, give me a sermon, and he just said, focus.
Focus.
Then I went to Iraq. I did what I had to do. My unit all came back. We, survived it, but we were changed by it.
Well, let me break in, Colonel Rabb. I wanted you to take a minute right there and talk about the training that you took into that command, because you said you were in school and you came back and you became the commander of a stress unit. So what training prepared you for that work? What were your degrees and your study in?
Okay, so my studies was again, I was in junior college. Hats off to that. But I went to Illinois State University in Bloomington Normal. And actually, this year they selected me this past year as leader of the year for the whole, Anyway, so it was an honor. I had to fly out there and all that. But what it was is, I focused on criminal justice, juvenile justice. I was really wanting to be I wanted to be a therapist. No, as you were, I wanted to be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
A police officer. I was training but that didn't happen. God wanted me to do something totally different. And I didn't even know what social work was, right? But after I went to Illinois State, I got a tap. And they said, hey, you know what? This is no joke. They said, you so smart. They told me this. Excuse my French. They said, the director of the School of Criminal Justice, he and his wife brought me into their house, right? Before I graduated. And he said, we're going to have dinner. But the reason why he wanted me to meet with him and his wife was to say, hey, I think, and sometimes it's good to do this, but he said, I don't think the path you're on is the right path. And I'm like, what? I'm invested in, criminal justice. And they said, no, their fear was that I wouldn't reach my potential, right? Their fear was that I was going to be locked in the criminal and think criminal justice and they said, no, you're larger than that, right? And so then I'm lost, saying, what do I do? What do I do? And then it came to me, you need to focus on social work. And I'm saying, what is social work? I never even heard. Really, I didn't know what social work was. But anyway, there was I went in that direction. I went in the social work direction. I went to the University of Chicago, one of the best schools there is in Illinois, if not in the country.
In the country.
Yeah.
Right.
And this was really good. What I got from that experience was being exposed, right? Exposure. And I got exposed to so many people who were brilliant, right? They were like you, Al. They were like you, Dr. B. I got exposed to that, and that changed me to go into social work. Okay, so I'm doing social work, but I wanted to keep true. Be me. Okay, so do you, be true. Right? Those three, right? And so I stepped forward and I went to the University of Chicago's School of Social Administration, and it was the best thing I could have done. I learned so much, and then also the counseling. That's where, it focused on clinical social work. So then they had a grant from the VA. And I never thought about going into the VA, but they had money on this, stipends and all this other stuff. And they said, hey, my mentor said, you need to, you can go continue your path, but if you just change just a little and focus on veterans, we think we can give you a lot of money to go to school while you're in school. And so I came to the VA and I stayed in the VA for 34 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did, worked in the emergency room. I was the first HIV/AIDS social worker here in Minnesota, one of the first Minnesota AIDS Project. Okay, so I'm trying to, it's like, God, what you doing? But what God was showing me is that I needed to break down my barriers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I tell you, coming out of the Marine Corps, and I was I can't even say it now, homophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I was, this is back in the late 80s. People were dying and all that. But it was interesting that the only job that they had was HIV/AIDS in the emergency room, right? So I started that. I went and I learned so much with HIV/AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to break down a lot of paradigms in terms of stereotypes and all that. It personally, it was a good thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping people. I mean, really helping people, and who were very different than what I was brought up with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I did that, and I stayed in the VA. Got promoted though. They saw some leadership. I was in the VA at Minneapolis for about 3 years, just doing, the HIV/AIDS, and then they saw this leadership, and perhaps because I was in the military, also I was in the Army Reserves at the time, that the VA promoted me to supervisor of 8 people, right?
What?
Okay, now check that out. And then what happened? Oh, I got to say it. Is that because of my leadership and what God had gave me, within like a year or two, there was a lot of changes, organizational changes. They selected. They said, you know what? We're going to double you. We're going to double what you were doing. Check. Right. So now my space is getting larger and larger, right? In terms of work, I became the director of continuity of care. So I supervise 20 people now, right? Including those 10 that I initially had. And then I was doing a great job. Let me hit this. I saved the Minneapolis VA millions and millions of dollars, right? Based on what God created, right? All right. for example, and not only that, I wanted to focus on service. And so what happened was with the HIV/AIDS and also the expansion and all that, inpatient, outpatient. Now I'm the director. You're not director, but I'm supervising. But I'm focusing. I have a wider space to do God's will, and like for example, the 300 people we discharged. 300 people we discharged in like less than a year, right? And it was when you discharge, you can bring in more people though.
Mm-hmm.
I was focusing on the veteran.
Mm-hmm.
I was focusing on the veteran. I'm like, how can we help these veterans, right?
Yep.
And then what happened was, I did. I had to shut my mouth though. See, this is one of the things I learned. You just do it, you strike, and then you just do. Sometimes you just got to do it.
I noticed.
Let them, react. And so I did it. And actually, a guy by the name Mr. Mullen, who was the medical center director, right? He called me into his office and he said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm creating change. And he said, wow, I like what you're doing, but I'm getting some complaints from a lot of people. What you doing? They don't know what you're doing, but they know the county veteran service officers, they kind of concerned about but they, and what I was doing was I was allowing people to be, I was exercising my freedom, and that is to take care of veterans. And so that's what I did. I saw an opportunity. I worked with my small group and we discharged over 300 people. Now, why? Because that was the right thing to do. I have values. See, I'm proud of the military, right? I'm proud of my training as a Marine in the Army. I'm proud, but we stand up on values. I will die for this country. I was willing to, but they taught me what right looks like. Now I come in here and I'm faced with all these situations, but then I asked for a promotion because I was working. I asked for, I said, well, I've been doing this, and you doubled, my staff, and I'm doing more. I want a promotion, right? So it went to the request went to my immediate boss. She gave me a thumbs up. She said, "Yeah, you're doing the work. Keep going. I'll validate that. You should get paid more." Then we went to personnel, director of personnel. And I thought I was going to get, personnel, but they approved it too. Then it only had to go one place. The director, Mr. Stephen Kleinglass. He gave me a no. No. He didn't have to explain his no. But I think part of it was because of the flag. What flag? They flew the Confederate flag at the medical center for everyone to see when they came into the new building, right? I was trying to just do my job. But the director asked me a question. He says, we're getting a lot of concerns about the flag. And he asked me, what would you do? He said, what should I do? He asked me, and I said, sir, you need to take the flag down. That was a no-brainer, based on who I was and who I, got. No, the flag needs to come down, right? And it did. The flag went down, and so did my career, right? So I'm supervising all these people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm asking for a promotion, because worth. Work, you have to think worth. My mentor, Violet Arnold, who is executive director of Double Dutch, and my mentor, right? She was right behind me, and she said, David, you're doing the right thing. Okay. But what happened was, now this is a story. I'm sorry I'm going too long. But the story is, as soon as I was denied, as soon as the door closed on me, I said, I can't work there. I mean, I don't know if I was crying or anything, but what I did is I took a break, and I suggest we should take a break now, and I'll come back, because this is a story. I'll come back to what happened after they denied me. Part 2 would be, what did God was watching. That's my message. Is that God was watching all this, right? My development and all this. God, somebody's watching. I believe God was watching me, and he took care of me. And let me give you a little clue. I got a chance to meet Rosa Parks, or to be in Rosa Parks' presence, because of that no, right? I decided I would do something different, but I got a chance to be Dorothy Heights. I didn't know. Okay, Dorothy Heights, Martin Luther King's wife.
Scott.
Yeah, Cicely Tyson, the lady who, she wore the hats, right? Emmett Till, Mama, got to meet her, right? And this was like 25 years, it was 20 years ago, right? So God gave me that platform to meet these people, right? After the door was slammed on me, right? And watch and see what God did. That's the second part. We'll come
back to that. I think we're probably at the end of this show today, as a matter of fact, but what a fascinating show it is. This has been a wonderful program with you and with Brother Garrett as well, talking and sharing. And so when we come back next week, we could take up from here. And
but we can't, because next week is a different program. Next week is our COVID program.
Yeah, that's right. Following week we'll come back, Brother David, and continue this conversation.
Yes, okay, and that doesn't mean you can't come back and join us. But next week we're gonna have Sojourner Truth herself sitting up here and do an interview with her about black liberty, trauma, and COVID and recovery. So you must come back. You can come anytime, Dr. Rabb, Brother Rabb.
Yeah, Dr. B, I attended this program that you said was, and they had so I went because of what you told me, right? And it was a great program. It was a great program. And so thank you for sharing that experience with me.
So I look forward to everybody being here next Friday when we have Joyce Marie playing Sojourner Truth. All right,
come on now.
I'm going to ask everybody to once again support this program by going to our YouTube channel, YouTube Insight News MN, and be a subscriber. Subscribe and also share and like. The data we got here is that 80% of the people who are watching are not subscribed. Only 17% are. So if you're in the 83% who watch the show but don't subscribe, let's change that right now. Take a minute, go to YouTube and subscribe to this program. With that, we're out of here for today. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Y'all.